on behalf of millions and millions and millions of Americans who want to encourage this movement. This movement is about the people. Who can argue a movement that is about the people and for the people? Remember, all political power is inherent in the people, and government is supposed to be working for the people. That is what this movement is about. Once and for all. But just last month, his administration awarded a $25 million no-bid contract to a Democrat donor. Is that hope? No, it's not hope. That's the same old in Washington, D.C., and instead of changing the way Washington does business, we got the Cornhusker kickback and the Louisiana Purchase and millions of tax breaks for union bosses' desires. The promised ban on lobbyists in this new administration, he handed out waivers left and right, and there are more than 40 former lobbyists who now work at the top levels in this administration. And these days, most members of Congress, they don't get to read the bill before they have to vote on it, much less the pledge that a bill wouldn't be signed into law, and so we all had 5 days to review it online. So, see, it's easy to understand why Americans are shaking their heads when Washington has broken trust with the people that these politicians are to be serving. We're drowning in national debt, and many of us have had enough. It's easy to understand, it really is, even though I think D.C. would just love for us to believe that this is all way over our heads. Somebody in Tennessee, somebody up there in Alaska, she'll never understand what we're talking about here in D.C. No, this is all pretty simple stuff. When our families, when our small businesses, we start running our finances into the red, what do? We tighten our belts and we cut back budgets. Isn't that what we teach our children, to live within our means? What Todd and I do is we have to make payroll, buy new equipment for our commercial fishing business. We have to plan for the future and need a budget. But in Washington, why is it just the opposite of that? This week, they unveiled a record-busting, mind-boggling $3.8 trillion federal budget. And they keep borrowing, and they keep printing these dollars, and they keep making us more and more beholden to foreign countries. And they keep making us take these steps towards insolvency. Now, what they're doing in proposing these big new programs with giant price tags, they're sticking our kids with the bill. And that's immoral. That's generational theft. We're stealing the opportunities from our children. To be aware that all of this makes us more beholden to other countries. It makes us less secure. It makes us less free, and that should tick us off. So, folks, with all these serious challenges ahead, we've got private sector job creation that has got to take place, and got these economic woes and health care, the war on terror. But as the saying goes, if you can't ride 2 horses at once, you shouldn't be in the circus. So here's some advice for those in D.C. who want to shine in the greatest show on earth. Too often when big government and big business get together and cronyism sets in, well, it benefits insiders, not everyday Americans. The administration and Congress should do what we did up there in Alaska when the good old boys started making backroom deals that were benefiting big oil and not the citizens of the state. And the citizens of the state, then Alaskans, we got together and we put government back on the side of the people, and a lot of the bigwigs, they started getting in trouble, and some of the bigwigs ended up going to jail over their backroom deals. Our government needs to adopt a pro-market agenda that doesn't pick winners and losers, but it invites competition and it levels the playing field for everyone. Washington's got to, across the board, lower taxes for small businesses so that our mom and pops can reinvest and hire people so that our businesses can thrive. And it is worth fighting for. God bless you. That America's finest, our men and women in uniform, are a force for good throughout the world, and that is nothing to apologize for. These are enduring truths. And these enduring truths have been passed down from Washington to Lincoln to Reagan and now to you. But while this movement is our roots, they are in our spirit too. They are historic. The current form of this movement, and we must never forget that it is a sacred trust to carry these ideas forward. It demands civility, and it requires decent, constructive, issue-oriented debate. Opponents of this message, they're seeking to marginalize this movement. They want to paint us as ideologically extreme and the counterpoint to liberal intolerance and outrageous conspiracy theorists aimed at our own government, and unethical, shameless tactics like considering a candidate's children fair game